Howdy fellas, welcome to 7StepCinema, where we rate your favourite movies in 7 steps. By we I mean I, and by 7 I mean 8. What I mean by 7 steps is 7 categories that I will rate individually out of 10, and then average to give me an overall score, also out of 10. It's a system me and my brother came up with, covers all aspects of a movie vaguely objectively, but still leaves space for personal opinion. Now, since this is the channel introduction, I'm going to go through the 7 steps in a bit more detail than I will in the rest of the videos. I'll mention it at the start of each one, but as more of a quick recap and not a full deep dive. The steps are each rated out of 10, like I said, but you can rate them with a 0.5 if you want. It's very easy to fall into a trap of thinking a rating of 7 out of 10 is a mid-level rating, like when your mate asks you how he looks and you don't want to insult him or give the wrong impression, so you shoot for a safe 7. But on this channel, I will be working on the basis that 5 out of 10 is a mid-level rating, which, if you think about it, makes sense, because it's in the middle of 1 and 10. Each of the steps will essentially start as a 5 out of 10, with positives raising the score and negatives lowering it, and the overall ratings will basically range from 0 out of 10, meaning the movie would be better if it was any other movie, 5 out of 10, meaning the movie is not the first recommendation you offer someone, but it's still better than a kick in the teeth, and 10 out of 10 being either a perfect movie, wouldn't change a thing, or a near-perfect movie, but you liked it enough to add the bonus score afterwards, which I'll explain later. And now on to the actual steps. Story is obviously the story of the movie, whether it's good, bad, fun, boring, whatever. If an adaptation has a good story, or if it sucks compared to the source material. Plot includes any single thing that happens in the movie, if it has good twists, moments that do or don't fit in, anything at all. Writing and dialogue focuses on the interaction between characters, whether their conversations make sense in the context of the scene, whether the wording they use sounds natural or unnatural if that's what it needs, and just generally how effective the dialogue is at moving the movie along or helping us understand a character. Characters are rated purely on how much you like them. If you're inspired by a hero or you hate a villain, the rating's higher. If you just hate a character because they feel out of place or they don't contribute to the movie at all, the rating is lower. The character rating also covers adaptation movies and whether a character feels true to the source material or if they were changed unnecessarily. This particular rating is especially opinion-based though, because you may like the adaptation of a character more than the original. Acting is obviously just how well a character is played and how well the different emotions or aspects of a character are conveyed by the actor or actress. Cinematography and Visuals is everything from framing to, ooh look, explosions. It ranges from aspects of the technical filming side of a movie to things that just either look good or look bad. A bad green screen or very convincing CGI affect the rating, but the year the movie was made should be taken into account. If you like super realistic movies and watch something from the 90s, you can't expect it to be perfect, and the rating should allow space for that. Visuals can also be rated higher if a movie needs intentionally bad visual effects. Like if it was trying to convey that someone was dreaming, for example, the movie might have horrible effects to show us that what's happening isn't real. Sound and music is probably the most obvious step just from the title. It's the suspenseful music in horror movies to the love songs in any old Hugh Grant movie. The music rating is similar to the visual rating in that if a movie has minimal music, it can still get a high rating if the moment or context needed no music. Like in Oppenheimer when the bomb goes off, if they started blasting Gangnam Style, it might not have had quite the same effect as the silence did. Sound just includes any sound effect throughout the movie, like a squelch when someone steps on something nasty, or a Wilhelm scream anytime an Ensign Ricky explodes or falls off anything. Flow and runtime is essentially the format of the movie. If it runs too long or not long enough, it loses rating. If the scene cuts are choppy or make the story confusing by overlapping flashbacks with the here and now, it loses rating. I find flow and runtime to be the easiest step out of all of them to hit a high rating on. It's very, very difficult to mess up the flow or runtime of a movie, but a lot of them do have unnecessary scenes or drawn out moments when they don't need to, so it is possible. Emotion and engagement is based on anything you felt during the movie. If a horror movie scared you, if a romance warmed you, if a comedy made you giggle, any feelings whatsoever. Even if you feel like the emotions make no sense for the movie, it is still good. Movies should make you feel. Engagement is obviously how engaged in the movie you are, and how easy you find it to pay attention. For this step, allow space for how attentive you are normally. If you find it easy to get distracted in normal life, then a movie that keeps your attention should get a higher rating than it would for someone who finds it easy to stay focused anyway, you know what I mean? The super secret special 8th step you may have noticed that I mentioned at the start, is where after you have the overall rating, you can plus or minus up to 0.5, so 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, purely for personal preference. And this also works as a way to adjust the placement of a movie in your rankings if you think it doesn't deserve the spot it got compared to the movies around it. Now, All of that is framed as if you will be doing it with me, because that's what I encourage. If you have your own movie ratings list already, stick with your system. If you don't, then by all means take mine. I like the idea of a lot of people using this system with me, and we can compare. Now, a couple of quick things about how the videos themselves are going to work. Firstly, the sound and music sections might vary a bit depending on copyright. Now, what I mean by that is YouTube is insanely strict with music usage, even under fair use. So if I can't safely include a clip without risking a claim or demonetization or whatever, I'll still talk about it, but I'll link the actual music in the description instead. I'll also have a very cheap Patreon setup for anyone who wants extended versions of videos with fuller music sections and other bonus content. I'm still going to put as much as I physically can on YouTube itself, so don't feel like I'm locking the reviews behind a paywall. The Patreon is just for extra stuff and people who want to support the channel a bit more directly. Any interaction on YouTube is much appreciated, obviously. It's just an extra step if you want to take it. Most importantly for some of you, every review will contain spoilers, but I'll always warn you beforehand and put a timestamp on screen if you just want to skip to the final score. I'll also link my letterboxd in the description so you can read written reviews of the films I cover for free, and check out the rankings list if you're a patron. I'll post updates on YouTube whenever a new review is in the works, and if I can manage it, I'll also make shorts for the individual category ratings as well. The first movie I'm going to review is Obsession from Cory Barker, which I know I'm slightly late to, but I watched it on release day and just didn't have a channel. You'll also have to bear with me on new movies since it's very difficult to find clips other than just the trailer. But hopefully I'll see you in that review, and if not, any of the future ones. But for now, go watch a film.